Well, howdy, y'all. Welcome to week 3 of the Audrey Hepburn movie marathon. My name is Matt, and I am the sword of God, the fire, and the vengeance, whereby the wrong shall be righted and the truth shall be told. And today we are here to discuss everyone's favorite Audrey Hepburn movie, The Unforgiven. I didn't know this was an Audrey Hepburn movie. I had never heard of this movie until I polled some of our regular guests and said, "Hey, is there an Audrey Hepburn movie anyone really wants to talk about?" And Alex picked this one. It was either this or War and Peace. But I looked up War and Peace, and it was another period piece where Audrey was wearing a luxurious gown, and I thought, well, that feels like that's in the same neighborhood as other movies that we're going to be watching. Even though looking back, neither of the movies we've talked about so far have been period pieces outside of the period when they were made. But either way, she's not in a ball gown in this movie. It's a Western. Yeah. Western with Audrey Hepburn. Who would have thought those two things would go together? But apparently they do. Let's see who we have here in the chat. First, we have our friends at Bitch and Boutique pointing out, apparently, there is a typo on the poster that I used, at least for the thumbnail of this image. It says, I think they dropped the R. I think it says The Unforgiven or something. So, yeah, that's weird, but noteworthy. My cats are here. First, we have Eliza. Eliza, it's true. She did not watch this movie. She doesn't like noisy animals. She will see us next week for her movie. Can't wait to talk about My Fair Lady. I also can't wait to talk about this. Just Audrey made some interesting films. Sabrina, my other kitty, is here in the chat. And it's true. Sabrina did like the horses. She did actually pay attention while I was watching this movie. So there we go. My mom is here. Hello. And yes, okay, Vince, this movie has an annoyingly similar title to the Clint Eastwood movie. And both of them are Westerns. This one is called The Unforgiven or The Unforgiven. The Eastwood one is just called Unforgiven. I had to watch that movie, I kid you not, probably close to 6 times over the course of my film degree. For whatever reason, professors just really like putting on Clint Eastwood's Unforgiven and leaving the room. And sometimes it was the same professor over the course of more than 1 year. He would just watch Unforgiven again. I'll be back. He never came back. Anyway, let's bring in our first guest for this evening. It's Jeanette, everybody.
Hello, and
Hello.
welcome to this week of Who Owns Audrey's Body. This is another great installation.
It's true, except what's really funny. Well, hold on. Alex is making. Well, I'll bring in Alex too. Alex is.
I was going to say, is it the Aboriginals or the white men? Time will tell.
Who knows? Some man, no matter his standing in society, will own this woman.
Except in this movie, it is quite literally ownership, as opposed to the other movies. It was more like theoretical ownership.
I do like when people are blunt instead of beating around the bush.
Yeah, no, in this one, it was quite literally who owns this woman. So,
yeah.
well, almost. Oh, yeah. I mean, no money changed hands, but more
blood did.
Overt ownership than metaphorical as portrayed by a cat, let's say, or father negotiating millionaire.
Yeah. I mean, they went right up to the line where she was like, "And did you sell me? Did you sell me, Ben? Was I sold off?"
Or do you get to keep me?
Yeah.
Did she say, "Did you sell me?" Oh, yeah, she did.
Yeah.
That was funny that happened. Okay. Well, I brought both of you in at the same time because Alex was gesticulating. I was like, well, clearly he needs to be here. But Jeanette, what is your favorite movie that has a cowboy in it?
I mean, my mind immediately goes to Brokeback Mountain, so I guess I'll go with that. That's just.
I haven't seen that.
I was gonna say a Heath Ledger cowboy, and I was like, wait, what movie was that? So really, my brain just goes Heath Ledger cowboy. The movie is secondary to that effect.
I don't think I saw that all the way through. I got thrown off at how quickly it was jumping time, and it annoyed me.
That's not what it was. Just very melodramatic. It was. I can't quit you. I can't with that. I can't.
Alex, what's your favorite movie that has a cowboy?
It's got to be Wild Wild West.
Okay.
It's got to be, Will Smith.
Would that technically would either of those count as westerns?
I
know
they both very much do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't speak to Brokeback, but I would say Wild Wild West.
Yeah, I've not seen
Pretty
either.
Darn tootin'.
I think my choice would be Back to the Future 3, which I would also say
Okay.
the Western movie. Yeah.
Haven't seen it.
What a shame.
Oh, I also love City Slickers. I grew up loving that movie. I love City Slickers so much.
Oh, I've never seen Urban Cowboy.
Yes, another one my mom raised me on. I didn't care for it, but it is a good movie. I
Are
mean,
there literal cowboys or are they like metaphorical cowboys?
it's it's the 70s, right? I mean, maybe it was early 80s. I could be mistaken. It's it's like City Slickers, but in the city instead of the other
Slick.
way. Yeah.
Exactly, Slickers. Yeah, nice. All right, well, let's talk about The Unforgiven. I was going to give a brief synopsis before I brought everyone in, and I rehearsed it kind of, so I don't want to waste it. But I was going to say that this is ultimately a movie about Audrey Hepburn finding out that she's adopted, and then everyone gets really angry, but it's okay because it means her brother can finally sleep with her.
There's so many elements of them going through this and going, but this is what makes it wrong, but this is what makes it right. And I'm like, both of those things are wrong.
Honestly, when she hugged him in the water when he first showed up, I was like, this is a little too close for comfort right now.
You think?
He's a little too happy to see her.
But no, she misses her brother. It's all
wait till he has clothes on and he's out of the water.
It's wholesome, all right? We just had a scene with her previously where she's like, I can't wait to see Ben. Oh my God, I miss Ben. It's consistent.
And then we flash forward 3 to 4 generations and find out that this is how Cruel Intentions started. So
I haven't seen it, but that sounded funny.
It's really, it's just.
Well, I'm sure it's just an incest
thing. Yeah.
I mean, I was going to make a Texas incest joke about how this kind of tracks.
I'm trying so hard. I was so mean last week. I'm just trying to be nice.
But anyway, that's my short synopsis. Jeanette, I'd like to welcome you to do like a 30-second or less synopsis of this film now.
Woman is young and needs to be married, and brother is coming home. They have a real weird thing, and you can feel it. And then there's Indians that everybody's mad at, though we've never actually seen them attack anyone on screen.
They are so innocent in this movie.
And
wait a minute, what?
The white guys get riled up, and there's more marriage talk, and then there's all of a sudden this girl's background is brought into question. All of us out of nowhere, all of a sudden, this is now the point of the film. I don't know if anybody else felt that, but all of a sudden there was just, now this is the point of the film. And she's I guess the problem is she's not even biracial. She's supposed to be full-blooded, which is the bigger issue here with the casting of Audrey Hepburn and the many Italian people who played Indians. But
Jeanette, as they say in the movie, Audrey Hepburn is darker than most, but that could just
darker than most. So
you got to see her body.
Really, so it comes down to is she a different race, and then they find out that she is, and she's adopted, and that it's okay now for her to marry her brother.
Yep.
Her like, her non-blood brother, but
but like
she grew up with,
she was
I would throw this out to our audience. I would throw this out to our audience. If you had an adopted sister, if you're a man, if you had an adopted sister that you had known since she was an infant, would you, by the time, now they're suggesting she's older than marrying age at this point. She's a little bit past her, right? They're making those suggestions.
She's 21 at any point. I feel like
instead of like 16 to 18 when they would have been prime, right? So she is
The Gloria character makes a comment about how old she is, but yeah, like the whole idea of like I'm already like 20 or whatever, and
right,
that's marrying age. Yeah, Audrey doesn't. I don't believe. But.
Yeah. Oh no. I watched My Fair Lady the day before I watched this. In My Fair Lady, they say she's 21, which my ears perked up. I was like, really?
I felt like they made some suggestion in this movie at some point that she was like.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I know the explicit one was for the other character, the redheaded, Gloria or whatever.
Yeah,
but she said
she was 20.
Yeah,
but then I feel like I don't know. Maybe I'm reading into something that wasn't there.
Yeah, no, Audrey, I think in these movies is always supposed to be 20 or 21. I feel like they said that was her age in Breakfast at Tiffany's as well at one point, or if you do math, you can figure it out anyway. Alex, it's your turn. I'd like to hear your 30-second or less synopsis of this movie.
Okay. Mysterious stranger comes into town, spouting the wrath and vengeance and fire of the Lord, stuff. And we
15
have
seconds left.
the Zachary family, and something's there's a mystery. What did the Zachary family do that this mysterious man is railing on about? And what's the expression? Fool around, find out, something like that. Fuck around, find out.
How
so
we made 11 minutes. Okay.
Oh, okay. Well, okay, yeah. So that's that's what happens.
It is. They do. They bleep around, and they do find out.
What really in the end does the mysterious man have to actually do with anything? That was what I ended up.
Oh, he provides the information.
Yeah, he was the whole thing.
Yep.
He was like a storyteller, but what we find out, like, other than carrying the story
around. It was a revenge. It was a whole revenge.
Yeah, his son. He lost his son because.
But we find out that the other guy doesn't really have anything to do with him losing his son. Like, they were just there.
Well, the way he tells the story,
Burt Lancaster told, but then they find out that the guy who is this creepy vengeance of God man was telling the truth, and that
he was telling the truth about the situation, but even telling the truth, I'm like, so your son got stolen by the natives, and this is that other guy's fault. How? Because the implication. Yeah, no, the implication is that it's not necessarily true that this is true, but what I took from it was at the very least, to what Matt said, so this guy's story is that white guys massacre like a group of Indians, right?
As you Americans say, we don't say Indian here, but you guys say that.
Oh, so you're saying they took the son in retaliation? For taking the baby. Okay.
Not even that. Even if that's not true, they don't outright say that. But even if that's not outright true, at the very least, it makes it. His argument was like, okay,
sure,
trade the one that we took from them for the one that they took from us.
Yeah, like the order of that little Rachel is obtained by the dad, and then shortly after that, the other guy's son is kidnapped, and then he makes the argument, okay, well, give them the baby so I can
give them theirs, give them their tribe, their blood for our blood. That's
okay.
And the story that
I guess I also
grew up with was that it was a baby that was found in like a carriage or something that it was
that was massacred by
it had like American Boston things on it.
I was also just confused why he was a wandering old guy. Like, I was like, why is he in that situation? Like, I don't know.
He traveled for 7 years.
And why don't the natives kill him?
Oh, because they have she has valuable information about where their lost princess is.
I think the implication is that they are working together.
Okay. I was just like, I understood everything. I was just like, okay, at the end of it, I was like, what did that guy actually have to do? Poor guy. Everybody who dies in this movie should not die. Like, literally, everyone who dies, everyone who lives at the end is all the most awful people other than, like, the Zeb guy. Like, I'm just like, this poor schlep on the horse gets shot in the back. And I don't understand why the natives killed him. I don't.
Because
I got questions.
Oh
yes, because he was betrothed to their person, to what's her name?
I guess, but then and they must know because of the guy.
Yeah,
he's watching.
Yeah,
the guy was just pulling the strings. He was
Okay.
Anything.
I mean, to your point, Jeanette, like that's not the movie doesn't confirm that, right? We're just kind of drawing that line. Like
I guess I don't. Yeah, and then I don't know. Like I said, nobody who dies in this movie really deserved to die.
Oh,
once the fighting starts, I think we can all agree that once the
Sure, but even Charlie didn't deserve to die.
No.
The grandma, I mean, poor, she didn't deserve to die.
Well, I mean, but admittedly, she got shot when she started shooting.
She was weak of body, so she deserved because she couldn't sustain the injury.
I guess
nobody could. It was a hole in her body.
She has.
I don't like that Ben lives at all, and then at the end we're supposed to be like super stoked that the most racist guy, Cash, and like the most like misogynistic guy Ben are alive and that they have their woman. I'm like, what?
Well, it's a classic American fantasy.
No,
all
Cash-
the indigenous are gone and they get to live.
They're literally like playing this inspirational happy music while they're standing surrounded by bodies. These like geese flying free, and I'm like, oh, this is the most frustrating combination.
But
of
now
things.
he can marry his sister. So
Who's
it's
an
okay.
Aboriginal, so they're not all dead. She's there, and Cash only came back because he overcame his racism. It's his racism that pulled him out of his
He came back so he could kill a bunch of
to
natives.
save the one native that really mattered to him.
I think he would still kill her. I think he was saving Ben and what's his face?
Totally.
Andy.
No. He overcame at least a little bit of the racism. He maintained the bulk of it, and that fueled his massive.
It feels like it was performative. Speaking of performative, let's take a look at Vince's comment. The movie might have benefited from John Huston delivering a heartfelt land acknowledgement at the beginning.
Lol.
Is that a thing for you in the States, Jeanette, when you go see theater specifically?
Are there land acknowledgements?
Do you have land acknowledgements?
I guess not. I don't know what that is.
I don't think they do.
It might just be us. It might be a Canada thing.
They still call their natives Indian, so I don't think.
No, we don't. If you've noticed, I haven't used that word. Indigenous peoples, but it takes too long to say.
That's true. It takes too long.
Yeah, no, basically before you see a show
Native
here, they do a land acknowledgement which I understand the value, but at the same time, it starts to get to a point where it's like you're acknowledging that you took the land that the theater's on, and yeah, the theater's here now. What is there going to be action?
Oh, it's literally like the land that the theater's on. Not like we acknowledge that this film was filmed on lands that were. Oh.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you have it like on the front of the McDonald's too? Then
they should know. Who's to say?
McDonald's company policy.
Shouldn't you have it on the front of every door then?
There's actually there's a sketch I showed Alex from a Canadian sketch troupe where it's just a whole scene where it's like they're seeing a play and they do the land acknowledgement, and this audience member says, "Wait, are we supposed to leave?" Then the woman who gave the acknowledgement is like, "No, why?" Well, you said we're on someone else's land. Oh, no, we're just saying that was then and the theater is here now. Oh, okay. So like, are some of the proceeds from the ticket sales going to help them? No, the ticket sales are all going to the theater company. Okay.
So it's a verbal tip. It's the equivalent of a verbal tip. Okay.
Basically. Cool. Yeah. I will say Lisa, who is not here, gave a very good land acknowledgement moment at the reading I saw, because she essentially said, let's acknowledge the land, even though acknowledgements, I can't remember word for word, Vince would know better, but basically she acknowledged that there's a performative element to it and what is the action that can follow through, and she had resources available. I was like, yeah, good. See, this is what it should be.
Yeah. I was like, wait, what even is the point? Somebody should have. They do give acknowledgement in the credits to the fact that this is filmed in Italy. So
I didn't make it that far into the credits.
Yeah. So I would guess that makes this a spaghetti western, does it?
No, because they're all speaking English and there's no dubbing.
Oh, okay. I was like, is that what makes it just when it's shot in Italy?
Well, I think it's shot in Italy, directed by an Italian filmmaker, and usually a multilingual shoot that they dub over in whatever language after the fact.
Yeah. And can we say Portugal was most certainly an Italian man? Like where he's talking to the horse, and I'm like there was no attempt to cut this accent whatsoever. But he wasn't even facing the camera most of it. They could have had somebody else say the lines and just put them over. And it was like a deep Italian accent. I was like, oh my.
But Jeanette, that would have meant hiring a First Nations actor, and Hollywood wasn't about that.
I know. It's hilarious that it was like so strong. I was like, wow.
I was actually trying to think back and think, are there any Indigenous actors from this era who could have been in this movie? And I'm sure there were. I just have no idea.
I'm sure there must have been, but they wouldn't have made it known either. Yeah. Honestly, for the same reasons that I love how this film is like trying to point it out in like the earliest, most subtle way, not subtle, but like shallow way, I suppose, possible. And yet you have like, I don't know. It's so crazy. I don't know. I'm like, what are you doing with it? I guess is my point. Like they're pointing it out, but then what are you doing with it?
Yep. I'm even looking at the guy who played Lost Bird. I don't think he was actually Indigenous.
Was it actually their point too? Like, were they actually trying to make a statement, or were they literally just interpreting this? Was the novel trying to make this statement? Or was it literally racist and now we're viewing it with a
I do think from what I read briefly, it's hard to find a ton of information on this movie. Yeah, but it sounded like John Huston went into it wanting to make a movie that was making a comment on racism, and then there was some pushback from the studio about how far he wanted to go with it, and it kind of fell in a weird in-between zone that was not fully what John wanted and not fully what the studio wanted. So I think his heart was kind of in the right place, but between what the studio wanted us alongside like the era in which it was made, it's this weird neither here nor there movie. Or at least that's how I kind of viewed it, because the whole time it was that situation of, is this a racist movie or is it making a comment on racism?
That's what I kept struggling with. I was like, because the principles that they're basing things on, that we are supposed to feel sympathy for the characters who are the main characters. I'm like, but if we do that, then we're going against the thing that I think you're trying to make a message about, and it's very confusing.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, we got so far ahead, which I love. But I want to
backtrack a bit. I have so many questions. I haven't even gotten to the incest yet. I mean,
there's plenty of time to discuss the incest.
I know.
It's not really incest. That's not
all three only children here are ripe with experience to dive into. But
I have friends who have siblings.
Okay, fair. So do I. Yeah.
Oh, I see. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, I wanted to start by asking Alex, you picked this movie. Why? Or suggested or lobbied for this movie. Had you seen it, or did you just look up her filmography and think like this one looks interesting?
Yeah, more or less the call was given, I guess. And so I forget the exact context, but for some reason I was compelled to look into Audrey Hepburn films and figure out, make a bid. And I think I more or less went off of the title. It was a very superficial search. I just looked at the filmography. I saw I read some things. I gave you a list, right? I didn't just give you one. I gave you
you said Breakfast at Tiffany's, Unforgiven, and War and Peace.
Yeah. So like War and Peace, I was like, we'd seen Natasha Pierre a couple times. It was in the zeitgeist of my mind. Breakfast at Tiffany's is an oft referenced classic film that I hadn't seen. And then I saw this called The Unforgiven, and I could only imagine what it was about. I didn't look up what it was about. I just read the title and was like, all right, let's go with this one. So
it was essentially a blind pick.
Yeah, I mean, just off of the title, yeah.
I was hoping you were like, I love this film. I know watching this film.
I wish I had, but no.
I thought maybe you picked it for the meme to some degree, but
the meme of it sounds cool. Yeah. And indeed it did. Yeah.
So here's a question. Did neither of you had seen it before this, I take it?
No.
I had seen the second half of it like multiple times.
Ooh.
Because every time my dad would be watching it, I would walk through the room and be like, is that Audrey Hepburn? And every time I'd be shocked. Like it was the first time I was realizing it. And he'd be like, yeah. I'd be like, oh, cool. And I'd sit down and watch them. Because I remember very distinctly like the last third or quarter of it, and I do remember some of the halfway point, kind of when they're talking about like who the old guy is on the horse and everything, right? I remember that. But this was my first time seeing it from the beginning, and I often get it confused with that one where John Wayne kidnaps that girl. Yeah. So I often get it confused with that one in my mind.
And it's so weird. I was watching this movie and I kept thinking about the Searchers, and it's almost like the antithesis to the Searchers, which I eventually discovered that they were written by the same person, or the books that they were both based on were written by the same person. But yeah, Alex, are you familiar with John Ford's The Searchers?
Don't think so.
So basically it is kind of the same story, but opposite, where John Wayne and like his nephew, I think John Wayne and his nephew, like his nephew's sister, so I guess John Wayne's niece, she's kidnapped by the Comanche tribe. I think that's how you pronounce their name. And it's Oklahoma, I believe, because this one was Texas. Yeah. So she's kidnapped when she's a little kid, and they spend years just trying to find her. So John Wayne and his nephew go out on like a 5-year search trying to find Natalie Wood. And then eventually they do. And then the brother's like, oh, good, we can be reunited because yay, family. And when they find her, essentially she's fully become a part of the tribe and a part of the community. And John Wayne's perspective is, well, she has to die because now she's one of them. So let me kill her. And then the nephew's like, what? No, but I thought this was to save her. He's like, it is, and saving her is killing her. But yeah, it's kind of
just her though, or does he kill them all? Or
I think mostly her, because he doesn't. I think his whole thing is he doesn't want his bloodline to be a part of that community, and so it's like a mercy killing.
And again, like it's one of those things. It's like, am I supposed to? And this was like before the day and age where I felt like they really wanted you to question that. I was like, are we supposed to like be on his side? I'm so confused. But whatever.
Yeah,
I think this movie, like, I think there's a strong argument for kind of what you guys were talking about before, for it, like, if not walking a middle, like if not making a strong comment on one side, then walking like a middle line of the.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Well, I think it's also interesting because in The Searchers, like Natalie Wood is fully kidnapped and they're going to get her, and like it is a family member who's been taken away pretty aggressively. Whereas in this movie, it's the same but the opposite perspective, because like she was a literal child who the Zachary family just decided, well, my kid's dead, I'm taking your baby now, and it's really the whole narrative is just kind of them wanting their family back. Because what's his name? Lostbird is her brother, right?
That's the claim. That's what he suspects.
Yeah. So yeah, it's like The Searchers. He just wants his sister back, and then she shoots him. It's
also his death is super anticlimactic. Like
it was so sad,
and then they just walk over him and go have the wild geese flying in the sky scene.
Oh, see, I enjoy it. That made it sadder to me. Is that I don't know if she knew that was her brother. But it looked to me.
He said sister.
Yeah, she had that moment where she was going to shoot, and he spoke at her, and he said sister, and she didn't shoot.
Yes. So yeah.
I mean, so she had that.
Oh, yeah, so she did know.
I thought the movie did a pretty. I felt a little differently than that. Like I thought the movie did kind of linger on that moment.
Like I think that was my favorite moment in the movie. It looked like he was very non-aggressively going towards her, almost.
Yeah, he was going to hug her. It looked like he was going to embrace her.
Yeah, he was going to hug her.
He went for the hug, and then she
shoots him, and then the camera does linger on him.
Sure, but what I'm saying is like immediately following that, there's nobody he doesn't come in and go, oh, it was your brother, I'm so sorry that you had to. No, they step over his body, they go out, and we get the inspirational music and the geese flying.
Yeah, because she's decided that she's like that's who she is. She's one of them.
There was family. There was the moment earlier where where they're getting ready to start the fight or whatever, and she says, like, I don't know if I can do it, and then Ben says, like, she basically, I forget, she says, my own people, like, that's like, I don't know if I can do it, like,
he's like only in blood but nothing else.
Yeah, they're only
and I guess so that was another moment where I'm sitting there and I go, oh, are we supposed to feel so much better for her now that she can disown her non-white family? Like, in her mind, she's okay with it. Now, like, we're supposed to feel inspired right now?
No, I don't think
we're supposed to like Ben more for this. Like that was what I got from it.
Also, the fact that Ben chooses violence, literally chooses violence when he says shoot one of them, kill one of them. It's like, but they're peaceful.
A music, like they're having their evening music. And he's like, I'll show you some friggin' music. Dude, like one night, you can't let these people have their peaceful music.
Well, no, his claim, and we're more or less, the movie leads us to believe that he knows what he's talking about when it comes to the Aboriginals, right? Yeah. Like he's communicating with them. So his claim was that they were having like a ritual to protect them from bullets. So effectively, they're in war preparation or battle preparation.
Which, if he's acting like this movie makes a great job of trying to make those people look really stupid. Like when they play the piano, and then they try to make you think that these native people would think that the piano was what was killing all the people that were coming to attack it. Like
I didn't get that.
I did. I got like they showed them riding up
because
and
they were
the piano.
Oh, I see.
I thought they were just aggressively like ruining property.
It looked to me like they were riding up like, "Whoa, our men rode up to this piano, and then they died. We've got to kill the piano because it's killing." I don't know, or like just the simple fact of them treating it like sitting ducks. Like, oh yeah, these people are gonna ride up one by one and try to attack this piece of wood right here while you're shooting them. The whole movie, every turn they had, it was like, oh, we're much smarter than them. They sit like idiots out here, and they know we have these little gun hidey holes, and then just sit there while we shoot them.
I mean, credit where it's due. I did think it was ingenious for them to bring the cow herd on top of the house. I thought that was a pretty smart tactic from the Aboriginals, right? But I agree with you in principle. I didn't quite interpret it that like I was trying to, I wasn't pre, I imagine that your take is correct at the time. Like these people probably, in the 60s were probably more or less just like seeing these as like dumb Indians, as it were. I was trying my best not to like to give the benefit of the doubt. And I was trying to imagine like, okay, like maybe it's just like they're fighting, the Aboriginal fighting style. Maybe they were so dedicated to their like method of war that they weren't going to like run up to the house and like stick their own rifles in the holes and stuff. But I also have the same kind of take as you.
I gave them benefit of the doubt until about a half hour left in the film, and I was like, I guess that's where it lost me as to whether it was actually trying to convey.
Actually, I think the last half hour is the chunk that the studio had their hands in more so than the rest.
I could tell it was like, no, you need to really go back to we're where you need to be, and we need to kill the brother one. Can't let him live. Like that also added to the nobody who dies in this movie really deserved to die. Cash should have died. Like he's a nasty person, and I don't understand why he lives.
Well, I don't know. Yeah, I still stand by the brother moment. And I think Matt more or less agrees with me. Like I thought that was a powerful moment, and it made me kind of feel like the movie was more or less like copping up to the fact that it was not
Lost Bird brother or Cash brother.
No, lost the one who dies.
Yeah. This is for Lost Bird.
Lost Bird, if you will. Like it to me that was the movie like doing a pretty direct job of like showing us that like we're not supposed to feel happy that all the like necessarily like at least at the very least that moment is not supposed to be a happy moment.
I feel like that moment is John Huston kind of getting his statement on the whole film in one moment amidst the chaos in the studio system.
Yeah, like I'll kill the Indians like you want studio or whatever. But like I'm gonna also like make a point here as like this is a tragedy. But I think if we break, like I think the movie goes like the way I interpreted the movie overall, thematically was this one of the questions it asked or it begged was like, what's more important, your tribe, your blood, or your family? I think that's something that the movie was dealing with. And I think in the end of the film, the way events transpire, because like up until the end, all we have are mostly like the stories, right? And the old guy kind of tells the story of how historically it's basically been like a tit for tat, where like the Indians would come in and do their raids and kill some people, and then the white man would retaliate. And that was that's the way he described it, was we were on a retaliatory whatever mission, and we killed a bunch of them, and then we found this baby. And then when it kind of the movie comes to the head of like, okay, the Aboriginals have gotten wind that one of their tribe, Rachel, exists and is living amongst the white people, and they want to have her return. She's our blood, she's our tribe. But the opposite of that is the Zacharys, who are like, okay, but she's now, of course, they didn't have a discourse. It was very much just Ben being like, no, but that's kind of the way I saw it. Of like the Zacharys have the claim of we raised her, we love her, she's our family. The Aboriginals have the claim of she was kidnapped, she's our tribe, she's our blood. She's that entitles her to kind of our culture, if you will. And and the way we're led to believe based on Ben's testimony is that the Aboriginals would not have left peaceably, even if he hadn't gotten Andy to kill one of them. He did that obviously primarily as a way to manipulate Rachel into staying with them.
Yeah.
But had he not done that and had he let Rachel go, then yeah, that would have been a peaceful end. But and we can debate that if that's morally what should have happened. But it seems clear both from the tribal perspective and the family's perspective, and even from Rachel's perspective, it seems to be the case, like based on what Rachel says, she seemingly in her heart did not want to leave her family. it seems that her motivation to go back to the tribe would have been to spare bloodshed, to spare her family, primarily for her family, and go back that way. But yeah, I think it's an interesting. I think the movie does its in the context of what Matt said. Like I don't forgive this movie all the racist shit it does, but I think it does at the very least provide an interesting context for this question that I identify. This theme of like, whatever, is blood thicker than water? Is tribe thicker than family?
Yeah.
I think along those lines, it highlights, I don't know, the word that comes to mind is hypocrisy, but that might be the wrong word pertaining to prejudices. Just the fact that like relationships are established between Rachel and the community at large, and then just kind of new information that doesn't affect how she treats anybody affects how they treat her, which I found really interesting.
Yeah, that's the racism.
There was a scene in this that I thought was very smart. There's a scene where she is in the room with the family, and every person in the family asks for something either in the house or the scene starts with, actually, she's with the mom, and the mom is looking at her, telling her something about it's either Cash or Andy, and she says, "You don't have to tell me about them," meaning like I grew up with them, like why you don't, so it was like the mom, just with this new information, was treating her different. But then immediately following that, Ben asked Andy for something. He's like, "I don't know where it is," or something, and she goes, "I do. I know where it's at."
Yeah, his toy soldiers, his lead soldiers.
Knows that house. And then somebody else after that asks something about their past, and she has the answer to the question. So it was like this really smart scene right after they all got that information of showing you like she is part of this family, which I thought was a much more tasteful way of saying that than some other ways that they chose to do that.
Yeah. No, I remember that sequence as well. Yeah, that was I agree. I noticed that
sequence. It might have been when I fell asleep.
It's when it's towards basically like remember when he melts the toys for more bullets, and
it's when they're running out of ammunition. Let me say this, since you're talking about falling asleep.
I mean, I woke up and
as far as I will say, let me preface with like maybe pre 1980. Let me say that pre 1980. I have watched so many Westerns with my dad. I have watched Western television shows with my mom. I don't know what has to happen in a Western for me to not find it boring, but Audrey Hepburn didn't even do it for me. So while I was able to watch this and it was more compelling than some, I don't know what it's. Maybe it's the desolate landscape. It is just so painfully droll.
I'm not even
every time I try to watch a Western.
So good.
It is one of the only gender stereotypes that I adhere to. I can't do it.
And Westerns pre-1980.
I'm like, after that, they feel more like Yoda from Ark mentioned Tombstone. Love Tombstone. Great movie. 1990s. It's perfect. Like, great.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. It's just something. They're all a little.
Yeah, they're all like, here's some landscapes. Enjoy the sweeping landscapes.
Okay, I enjoyed the sweeping landscapes.
I enjoyed the
yeah.
But yeah.
I mean, the sweeping, as kind of boring and more problematic as The Searchers is, The Searchers set a standard for me for what I thought all Westerns looked like visually, and this didn't meet it. I was a little disappointed. But then
this was not as visually stunning as some Westerns.
Yeah.
I will say that. I did like that nighttime dust storm scene. That was kind of cool. Like, I like a nighttime desert scene. That was cool. I like that. But I kept looking for good cinematography in this, and it was not. I didn't find much.
Yeah. Well, did you see my message in our group chat about how I thought it was a John Ford movie, and then the first shot, the horizon's in the middle? I was like,
Fableman's.
That man's a hypocrite. But then it said John Huston. It all made sense. Also, and I don't know if I said it, this movie was directed by Morticia Adams' dad. So yeah,
nice.
We love a Hollywood legacy. What else did he do? I don't know if he built his career on Westerns the same way John Ford did, but I know he made a lot of.
Alex, I have to ask, are you safe? You're sitting very close to a window in a thunderstorm.
Oh, he's fine. It's Montreal.
Is that a thing? Is there some statistic?
Maybe it's an old wives' tale. My mom always told me not to sit near windows during thunderstorms. Yeah.
I've never heard that. I feel okay, but there is a thunderstorm.
Okay.
Yeah.
I noticed.
But, I mean, if it's making you uncomfortable, I can move.
No, you're.
At least
I think it might be an old wives' tale.
No, but honestly, if he gets struck
face
down,
when
I
I
won't
said it,
have
I
it
was
on
like-
video. The views.
If I get struck down, I'll have to get struck down twice.
That video will be taken down.
Oh my gosh, so much is happening. So apparently he also directed Moby Dick. He also directed the original Moulin Rouge. He did the African Queen. That's exciting.
Oh, okay.
I think
I
he
like
also,
that
What's the
movie.
original Moulin Rouge? There's an original and a new one.
yeah. Well, when I say original, there is a movie evidently from 1952 that is a musical called Moulin Rouge, which I think is also about the Moulin Rouge in Paris. I don't know if there are any other similarities to the Baz Luhrmann one.
Okay.
I think he also directed Annie. Yeah, he did. He directed Annie.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
he has quite the varied filmography. He was a talented.
Also pretty
cook.
long. Annie was 70s, right?
Later it was like 80s. I think it was 82. Yeah, it was 82.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. Anyway, going back to Vince said something I thought was funny. Wild discussion. Hope it doesn't disappear like Titus. Hashtag
Oh, wait,
Titus
did
review.
Titus review got?
Yeah,
got-
well, not by YouTube, by me. I hit it.
You didn't. Oh, we still need to do like the cut version that cuts out the stuff that you're afraid of.
But if you do that, then you
With
have
all
to
of it.
start if you do that, then you have to start a Patreon and have the director's cut. So,
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're right.
yeah,
You're right.
yeah.
Mostly did it for you, Alex.
I say let it fly, Matt. I'm not worried.
Alex is letting the freak flag fly.
Right, Fry?
Fly.
Yeah.
There it is. Well, we're over 40 minutes in. We haven't actually really discussed Audrey, and this is her marathon.
Let's talk about Audrey.
Let's talk
She's
about Audrey.
the best part of this movie.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. She's a part of the best part of this movie. I
You're
think the best
right.
part of the movie is
You're
her
right.
shooting her
You're right.
brother. I loved her shooting her brother. I thought that was a beautiful.
I thought it was a very powerful moment.
Yeah.
I won't say I loved it, but
No, like I think it was I loved it because it made the movie. It justified the movie for me as an audience member.
Yeah, I
Why
agree.
was there for the whole time. Yeah. I feel like it's an interesting movie to me in Audrey's collected filmography because first off, it's a movie I had, like I said, never heard of, and I've barely seen any of her films, but I feel like I've heard of all of them minus this one. So it just kind of popped up out of
Uh-oh.
movie. It's a
As
movie
all-
that she just happens to be in.
There he is.
And it even kind of felt that
Nope.
way watching it. Like she didn't, aside from the whole movie narratively being about her, I didn't find
There
her
he is.
that important. Oh no, I'm back.
You're back. Yes.
Oh no, hold on. I was just basically
Holding
saying
on.
I didn't find Audrey that important in this movie. I was impressed though with the performance. It was way better than I thought it was going to be on her end.
It was a
Interesting.
good performance, but I felt like she's important. Obviously, she's the character they're all talking about, but she didn't have any like major scenes where it was like the camera's focused on her and she's
Yeah,
giving like either a
close up or-
monologue
yeah.
or a dialogue with Ben. Like Ben had bigger parts than she did. I
Yeah,
felt.
she did a
And
lot
there
of
was-
work in her short period, in her short little moments, right? Like, oh, I miss Ben.
Yeah, my favorite parts of her were when she was like being cheeky, like when she was like trying to kind of
Charlie.
chide Ben and flirt with Charlie. Like I liked those interactions. I guess namely probably because that's what she was doing in other films.
Strange choice with Charlie being the beau they picked for Rachel. Strange. He was like the dumb one. Like seemingly.
He did seem really like an affable goof. Also, I find it hilarious that when we find out that she's not related to any of them, it's not Andy, the youngest one, that she is with. No, it must be
Well,
Ben,
no, she was
oldest
already
one.
She was already into Ben, right? That was the way they
She was always into
established. That's what they established prior.
It was
right?
just weird. I was
Oh.
like, there's literally two other brothers who are
Yeah, I
younger
agree.
than Ben.
I agree that Andy looked like a better match aesthetically.
I mean, Cash is even closer to her age, presumably.
Oh well, Cash will have nothing to do with her romantically.
No, I think Cash might have been in the closet, to be completely honest.
Yeah, if he's yeah. Gloria's not a bad gal. Yeah.
He just keeps kind of nudging her to the side. He had to be like pass out drunk to be with her.
She's making out with him.
in
He's
the
thinking about his
barn.
brothers.
You know, maybe that's why he hates Rachel so much, because he's
That's
jealous.
what
Because she's a
Why
woman.
can't I be not related to Ben? That's what it is.
Oh god. I just want him to be so. He just seems so insecure about something. I don't know.
I agree. Cash is definitely that prototype. Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, Audrey. Yeah, she was fine. I feel it really feels like she was cast so that they could put her name on the poster.
Yeah, and because she had dark hair.
Yeah.
She's known for having dark hair.
But what do you mean
Like-
she's darker than most in Hollywood? But that could be the sun.
Well, and that's
that could
and
just
that's
be
the
the
other
sun.
thing. I was like,
have to
was
see her belly
Audrey
button.
Hepburn known for being tan?
I don't think so.
Like-
I think she may have. I don't know what's her heritage again, because she may have been
She's
slightly.
shot-
Isn't she like
She's-
East European of some sort?
I don't think it's
Oh.
East.
Am I
I
wrong?
think it's
like northern, like Polish or whatever, like Scandinavian.
I thought
don't
she
know.
was Eastern European of some sort, but I could be
English and Austrian.
Austrian.
heritage.
Okay.
okay.
Yeah. Okay. No, because I was gonna say like she might. The most I could do is like maybe she's like ever so slightly like olive skin, but
No,
I don't know if that
so
was just like
white.
makeup or yeah, or just just psychology, just like me trying to be like, okay, they're saying she's darker than most, so maybe she is darker than most. I'm like,
It's
yeah,
just
okay, maybe
so
she's a little-
weird. And I'm like
Yeah.
wondering, like, did they literally made her tan for this movie?
Yeah, I would assume if she's not
They
naturally
pulled
like
in,
olive
in
skin.
Indiana Jones extras on Audrey Hepburn.
They pulled a West Side Story, Anita.
Yeah.
So there it is. Yeah.
What
Yeah.
is that scene too where she's opening her shirt and looking down? I'm like,
Oh, because she's
Oh,
looking
yeah.
at the wall to see how dark she is.
Yeah, I
Well,
get that's what I
yeah.
thought. Yeah, because
well,
they
I
were
thought
like
maybe they were. Yeah, I thought they were like talking about like her looking at like her areolas and like that they're different or something. I was like, what? I'm like, what are
No,
they
it's the belly
doing?
button, Jeanette. It's the belly button. That holds.
I
that
was like,
holds the
what?
secret.
I didn't think we needed that. I was like, what? I don't know. I just thought that whole bit was weird. I was like, what?
I thought it was weirder that
undress
she
her?
tried to do Aboriginal makeup on her face, but all she got was a line. Unless that was a thing. I don't know.
No, I don't think so. That was.
It was a thing where she
like,
was
what?
she was raised amongst the racist community, so it's not
Yeah.
all she knew was that she didn't know.
I
any
will say,
legitimate-
to anyone who watches this and is like, oh, this sounds crazy, I'm gonna go watch this. If none of this has triggered you, just FYI, they use the big one. They use the big word when we're
Oh, I
talking
didn't even know
about
it
these
could be
things.
applied to this group of people.
Oh, in America,
Well, they
can
qualify
make
it
that
with
word
red. Oh, yeah.
apply to everybody.
Yeah.
So, unfortunately, you just put a color in front of it and they just say it
Yeah.
about everybody.
Yeah.
Or if you name where they live and put it behind it. Yeah. And so just a trigger warning because that kind of flew at it. I was like, whoa, yeah.
Oh yeah, and
forgot.
they kept dropping it.
Yeah, anything before 1980.
I was a
is pretty
four
much,
times. Just four
Oh, four?
times total. Yeah.
There's only 4. It felt so much more.
It felt like so much more. They do keep saying INJUN and
yeah.
I was like that too. But that was like, I mean, even I was hearing that one when I was little. I was like,
Yeah, like I said,
So-
like
Yeah, that word is in a lyric in a song from the Pajama Game. I had
Yes.
to sing
the
one.
pajama game.
It's a musical with
an
Doris
American
Day.
musical.
It's an American musical. Yeah, they're singing about how much they love each other, and there's a lyric that's more than that word loves their scalps. It's like I love you more than I'm.
Well, is that abbreviation considered especially like is it worse than Indian?
Oh yeah.
It is? Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Okay.
Supposedly it's just a dialect thing, but people who don't have that dialect use it. Yeah. So
Okay.
Hey,
Well,
we all.
Yeah.
I understood that reference.
Yeah. The Pajama Game lyric, I won't say the word, but I'll say Indian. More than an Indian loves his scalps is the
Yeah.
lyric in the
Yeah.
original.
More than a yodeler
song.
loves his Alps.
That rhymes with that one. Yeah. The yodelers love their Alps. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. In my production that I was in, we changed that lyric to more than a reverend loves to help.
Oh,
That
that's
was what-
nice.
that
I
what
was
they
gonna
came
say
up
you
with.
could have put something else controversial after that one too.
Yeah, yeah.
When I did that song at my log cabin dinner theater, I tried to think of an alternate lyric and I couldn't, so I just mumbled it. It was like more than
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Remember when she decided she was going to join her people and she came out dressed the way a white woman assumes they dress?
I think
She
that's very
literally
true
looked
to
like
form.
Coachella
That's like
1960.
period.
It was
That's
like, I'm going to put a
consistent.
brown jacket on with some little toggles, and I'm going to put a smear right here, and I'm going to mess my hair up just a little bit, and I'm going to put on this denim skirt. And
Matt, did you send Jeanette the meme you sent me?
No.
You should.
I didn't know if she would have the
cultural
context.
I think
is it a Canadian thing?
It is a Canadian thing, but I think it's more or less pretty like obvious once you see it.
Well, I'm not gonna say on the channel what it is, but you two keep talking. I'll send it to Jeanette right now.
Okay.
We can see her reaction live on the air.
Yeah. It's a good little meme.
Oh, you're frozen again, Matt.
Oh, it's okay. He's looking things up now. We don't need to see him do that. You know. But yeah, Matt's got some. Has it gone through?
Oh, there it is.
Are we getting a live reaction?
Am I back yet?
You're back. Yeah, your video.
Yes, no, I get this. It's brought up enough on my comedy podcast that I get it. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was a funny little thing.
This is perfect. Yeah, she just looks. You're right. She just looks like some chick that was like, I'm gonna put on Indian clothes.
Yeah.
Very.
I mean, she wouldn't know any better, right? She's a.
Yeah.
I mean, she saw actual natives. She had pretty good reference.
I know, but she didn't have the time to source authentic paraphernalia.
You two keep talking amongst yourselves. I want to try to fix my internet.
Oh, okay. So, Alex, what was your favorite fighting scene?
Well, what were there? There was the one at the end where they're all just shooting at each other.
Yeah. I guess I consider the hanging scene a fighting. They're not really fighting, but they're killing.
Okay. I don't think that's one of my favorite scenes. It's a good scene. I really like that guy. I really like the old man, the vengeance and fire and hallelujah.
I
glory.
like when Ben's talking to the native and he goes, the crazy guy, and I'm like, is that what is this sign?
Yeah.
I rewound it and I was like, and I looked up, I was like, is that the sign language sign for crazy? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
Buffy St. Marie. Oh, I was like, what is that?
Yeah, apparently Buffy St. Marie is not indigenous.
Yeah.
Who is that?
She wrote "Love Lift Us Up Where We Belong" from.
Oh. I
can't remember what movie it's from. Officer and a Gentleman, maybe.
She's
I know
Canadian,
the song
right?
for sure.
Yeah, and she was known as like one of the most noteworthy, prolific First Nations musical artists, at least from Canada, if not North America in general. But then apparently it recently came out that she's not.
Oh, I was about to say, see, guys, this is why visibility is important. But no, that's why she didn't try to be more visible. So.
I know. She was taking a page out of Audrey Hepburn's book in this movie.
Well, that's like when you look at least in America, when you look at the casinos that are owned by some of these guys, I'm like, you are whiter than my grandfather. I don't know why. Who are you?
Well, although from what I understand, like they're within the communities, the way that we sort of picture the aesthetic, like there's a whole range. Like they can be full-blooded.
Of course, yeah. I mean, there's Spanish people. You don't think of like gingers, but there's a lot of ginger Spanish people too. But I guess we're going back to the darker than most. They're not darker than most. Not presenting that forward image.
Yeah, so like in that respect, I feel like the Audrey Hepburn casting isn't too far off. Just like, visually.
But that's not what they were going.
No, it's not what they were doing. It's because it was Audrey Hepburn. It's because it was.
And they had to have tanned her because they literally did make her like just slightly darker than most.
Yeah, very so slightly. I'm not gonna
get over that line. I can't.
He just wanted to see her body.
Well, we don't.
Oh my god! And then I had captions on mine, and I was so tempted to take a screenshot of it. The old man, and it said, or he said something like, "Let me see under her clothes" or something, or take her inside and undress her. And there's
have the women
he,
take.
he does. He tells the women to do it.
Yeah.
He's like,
Well,
he does, but there was like a scene on my screen where it said like, "Take her inside and undress her." So
Yeah.
just was dying. I was like, the one-liners, like the out of context one-liners in this movie.
Well, it's like when Rachel when the old man stole her horse and she's riding back home with Ben, and Ben, they're having a little repartee, and she's saying, "Oh, Ben this, Ben that," and Ben has that one line where he's like, what did she say? Like, "Are you mad with me or something?" And he's like, "Yep, when I get home, I'm gonna whoop you."
Oh, right.
Something.
Yeah.
And then immediately after, she's like, "Tell me again, Ben."
Yeah.
About how you're
But then she goes into another story.
She
so
pauses. No, yeah, she pauses, but it literally sounds like she's like, "Say it again."
Yeah, exactly. Like,
And then she pauses for like 20 seconds and then goes, "About the night that Dad brought me home."
Yeah. And I love that.
Then she says like, "Oh, well, you could marry me."
Yeah, we're not even cousins.
The whole movie starts off on this. The whole movie starts off on this note of, "Hey, we're not related.
Yeah,
it'd be totally cool."
Technically,
and her like basically whining when she doesn't get that. Oh my god, that was another part. I was just like, I don't understand who I'm supposed to sympathize here. I don't like either side of this equation. Is there a C option?
No, just Lost Bird. Just Lost Bird.
Yes.
The hero.
Yes. The two things that should have happened in this movie. She should have gone with him the first time, and she should have gone with him the second time.
I mean, I don't know if that's true. I
don't know that she should have gone with him. But of all the options that were presented in this film, between marrying your faux brother and okay.
I can see that. And
then I think we're supposed to feel bad for this guy that I don't know, this affable fool. I felt bad that he died, but I'm like, we don't have any connection to this guy.
Yeah, he just seems like
I don't understand.
Well, yeah, no, the only reason Charlie is there is so that he can die and it can kind of spur the order of events that lead to the hanging.
Yeah, but they could have picked one of Charlie's brothers. They could have picked there was a guy when they were doing the horse wrangling. There was a perfectly good-looking dude who probably wasn't as dim-witted as Charlie. And I was like, just have him be the guy. Anyway, it was a strange choice in terms of. I mean, it's a superficial point to make because ultimately we don't get a lot of time with the character in the script. But it just seemed like a strange choice to pick somebody because it just makes it that extra step harder to kind of not sympathize, but I guess empathize, relate to him. It's like I don't quite see why Rachel would be so keen on getting. I mean, as insofar as I guess they're all.
You really wanted to make Ben jealous.
Maybe. Although, Ben seemed to be, warming up to the whole thing. I mean,
I didn't like Ben from the beginning. I just don't know what part of Ben we are supposed to like.
He's the hero.
He's a family man.
He provides for his family. He's not kind.
What do you mean?
He is not funny.
He's not
He's astoundingly gorgeous.
No, remember
he's less racist than Cash.
I'll hire any man. I'm not going to insult him when I interview him when they're talking about Johnny Portugal. They give us a little moment.
Being less racist than Cash is like being wetter than sand. I mean,
it's
what do you? That's
credit where credit's due. Credit where credit's due. He's enlightened for his time and his culture.
I think even Zeb was less racist than Cash.
I don't know. We didn't see that.
Zeb?
Maybe.
Zeb is the old guy
the double clutch man.
On the
right.
Yeah. Even
Zeb he's the undresser. He's less racist. He's more.
He's more that's the dirty old man that wants to undress the or touch. He actually reaches for her. He's like, "Let me see her skin" or something. He says something like that, and it's so weird.
I think that's the captions.
Andy is the only, and Andy's not even a great guy. All he wants to do is go
see women,
sex workers in Wichita.
No, he wants his first.
No, it's a beer. He wants his beer.
The beer is not real. The beer.
No, the beer
is a lie.
The beer is a euphemism.
The beer is a lie.
Is it like Taylor Swift's red scarf?
I don't know what that means.
I don't know either.
Oh, okay.
Only true T Swift fans will.
Yeah, it's true.
I was gonna say.
Swifties
we'll get
down below.
Swifties will get it. Yeah. Did Audrey do anything noteworthy in this movie? I felt like her accent was better than it was in Breakfast at Tiffany's for an American.
Yes.
Oh, for an
Yes.
American, sure, but I
Like
didn't
overall,
mind it.
no. But
Yeah, it was a little bit of a podge of Southern and Midwestern and nothing. I don't know. It did keep jumping around. At one point, it was very Southern, and I was like, whoa. And then it went away. I was like, oh, okay. I didn't think I heard that earlier either.
yeah, and I've started to respect that she has like her trademark wail that seems to appear in every movie. I can't even do it, but it's like a guttural, like, oh, that Audrey does. And we got that in this film, so that was nice.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, this
She's
is not
also
good, right?
part
This is
of
like
that.
No, this is like good. It's like
This is
okay.
okay?
Which that was.
No.
That was okay.
Oh, that's
Okay.
part of a.
It's okay.
You're right,
Yeah.
Alex, but I
Yeah.
don't. None of us here.
Okay.
We're using it as
Okay.
an okay thing.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't
okay.
think.
It's not a signal. It's not a yeah.
I also don't think anybody of that ilk is watching this channel. I'm just
What?
gonna throw that
Now
out
I'm
there.
confused. Is it a Taylor Swift thing?
No, it's a Trump.
It's like a white supremacist thing or something.
Yeah.
Oh, what? Okay, take
Yeah.
it back. This is
Yeah.
not. This is not the. This
It's
is
still.
not
It
the
is
show.
still. It is still an okay symbol. Just like there's many things that are used for many things.
Yeah. It's like the
Okay.
swastika as a
Yeah.
Hinduism symbol. You know. It's,
No, well, that's actually reversed, but no, yeah, I see what you're
Well, no. Yeah.
saying. Yeah, no, I don't know. This
Okay,
movie is
yeah.
uncomfortable, and I don't know. I don't know what to do with it. Audrey's okay, but I don't. You're right. There's nothing memorable about her in this movie.
Yeah, no.
She does a lot of these. She does a lot of these.
Yeah.
Where she bites her lip
Yeah,
and turns
like,
like this with her arms clenched up.
Like,
yeah, she has that.
her physicality was a lot better than I thought it would be. I thought she'd be really out of place in the cowboy environment, and she was only kind of out of place.
Yeah, women have to be super physical in these westerns.
Oh
I
yeah, like
feel.
she broke her back making this movie. That's a fun fact. Riding a horse.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and yeah, she broke her back. I think before the movie actually started to shoot, so it delayed the shoot, and it's speculated that that may have caused a miscarriage because she had one shortly after that. And well, I don't want to say she hated this movie, but she didn't really talk about it ever and didn't seem to care.
No, and that's another thing that makes me think they weren't trying to send a good message. That it literally was just
Like she was
three-fourths
distancing
racist.
herself.
Yeah, that's the other thing. I'm like, I think it's just because she was such a good lady outside, like in the real world, like all her humanitarian work and all the things, like different speeches she gave and everything. So I'm like, if she wasn't putting her weight behind this, I don't know.
I don't know. Breakfast at Tiffany's has that caricature character that I feel like I don't know. I feel like that one was more unconscionable than what this movie, at least I felt like, was maybe arguably attempting to do in terms of at least paint some kind of ambiguity as to whether or not it's a good thing that white people are racist against Aboriginals. Yeah. So like
yeah, like I
and
think
what was Breakfast at Tiffany's not doing?
It just wasn't raising the question at all of a white guy in yellowface being appropriate or not. Like,
I see. I thought you meant about her like her sex life.
No. I was just saying the yellow face and Breakfast
the
at
Mickey
Tiffany's
Rooney.
was like
Everybody
was unashamedly
super cool with that.
Yeah. And this movie was at least arguably
it's almost
attempting
like
to ask a
he is
question
the
about
Mickey
something
Rooney of this
problematic.
movie. Like she
Is?
doesn't.
Oh yeah.
Like she
I
doesn't
mean-
need. She doesn't really need to be there, but she is.
I mean, she's
Well, I guess
she's
she does-
definitely not a caricature of an Aboriginal person, with the exception, I guess, of
True.
like at the end. But even that is quite tame
I just
compared
think
to him.
overall suggestion that also I love that how all of a sudden when they find this out for sure, like in a public setting, and now everybody knows, they're all like, "Yeah, she is darker than the rest of us." And I'm like, "And look at her; she looks just like one of them."
It's
like,
plain
but
as.
but she's been here for 22 years or so, and nobody thought any of this before.
Could
Like,
be
Well, no,
nobody-
I mean that's one of the elements that I really enjoyed about the movie was like I mentioned the hypocrisy earlier. It almost felt kind of Crucible-y, like not as good as the Crucible, but in the same vein of like, well, here, let's just mob mentality. We have this information, let's run with it and crucify and or otherwise villainize this one person.
Yeah, like I mean, the for example, like the one mother, the Jeb's wife, like she's not painted in a particularly great light in this film. Like I think the movie does a decent job of like when she starts going off on her and using those big big terms, like we're not supposed. Then even Jeb, like, you know, and to Jeb's credit, like he seems like a decent guy, but like, you know, when Jeb's like, you know, be still, woman. Yeah. So I think the movie, you know, like I say, there are these arguments. Like, of course, you know, it's not a picture perfect film, but I do think there's a lot of little things that build up to, like, it's at least attempting to ask a question that, you know, the people in the film certainly wouldn't have asked, right? Like these racist white folks wouldn't have.
Vince summed it up perfectly. The Unforgiven, a less good but more racist version of The Crucible.
Yes, literally.
That should be on the poster, Ben.
Maybe. I mean, I actually, yeah. Overall, I actually, you know, quite enjoyed the film and thought it was pretty good, all things considered. But
I enjoyed it more than most Westerns I've seen from this era.
Yeah,
but I would probably watch
exactly.
this over The Searchers if I had the option between the two. I don't know if I would pick this over Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, because I remember really liking it, even though it was really long. Yeah.
Fair. I haven't seen it.
On a scale of least boring to most boring, none of them being not boring, I would say that it is closer to least boring.
Well, like I appreciated that the plot moved pretty quickly. Like every scene sort of advanced the narrative instead of just having long drawn out scenes of here's some cows, here's some landscape. I mean, there were cows. There were cows, more horses than cows. You know, I always like seeing a horse or a bunch of horses on screen. Like, that's fun. Show me the animals. I hope they were treated well. They probably weren't. It was the 50s going into the 60s, but yeah.
You know, I just realized if you just turned around and told me that all the people in this were androids and that people in the modern world were controlling them, I would love it because it would be Westworld. And it'd be great.
Yeah.
There you go.
So maybe I just need to rewatch it and tell myself that.
Well, maybe
this is all just happening in Westworld.
Yeah, they're just sick people living out their sick fantasies.
This is awful people in the year 2030.
Yeah.
It's actually really fun to imagine every Western movie in that lens.
Right?
Just Westworld. Yeah.
Then that makes John Wayne the Man in Black.
He's Yul Brynner?
No. Well, yeah, I'm thinking of the newer one. Yeah, I was going to say Ed Harris, but yes, you are right. Yes, Yul Brynner. Yes.
Yeah, I only made my way through season 1 of that TV show. I was so confused.
God, I love it. I haven't watched the most recent season, but the first 2 are like, it's my life. I love it.
I tried to start season 2 maybe a year or 2 after I finished season 1, and my brain couldn't brain. I thought
you can't take time off between them. No.
What happened? Why is the blonde lady evil now?
Did you not watch one of those like 25-minute recaps on YouTube?
No, those exist. That would have helped.
Yeah. Maybe I don't know if they exist for Westworld, but they exist for everything else.
I believe it. I'll pick it up again. We'll see.
It would be 45 minutes for Westworld.
Either way, just something to go through it. Does anybody else agree that there were so many scenes of Andy with this like his giant grin and innocent
adorable.
face? He's adorable. But there were so many shots where it was like it was like I'm trained by all the movies I've seen that his like head's gonna explode or something. Like he was just supposed to die.
I did think that they were making him out to be the innocent little lamb, and then he never died.
He's like, guys, we did it, just like explode.
I keep thinking he was gonna die.
Yeah,
I think you're the only one who thought his head would explode, but I can see it.
That
now.
would be very cool.
Yeah.
That would have made this movie so much. I also love, can we just talk about before they started putting blood in movies when they didn't need to? Like, they have all of a sudden there's blood when the grandmother gets shot. There's like a lot of blood.
Yeah.
But when other people are getting hatcheted to the head, it literally makes like a thunk noise, and there's nothing.
Yeah, and they visibly see that it's like just a thunk. It's not nothing's like.
And it's like this man picks up a hatchet, and we watch the hatchet hit the head, and it's just nothing. Then we're also supposed to believe that Cash, this drunk, he is still drunk from the night before. Okay, this drunk man who rode in here with his handguns, who throws his gun down, picks up a native spear, and just starts one hand stabbing people with it. With a long spear. This man is one hand stabbing people. And they're literally taking one hit to the side and going, ah! It's falling off the wall.
Yeah, I saw that too. Yeah.
Oh, it was the best.
I'm-
I just
I mean,
love it.
It's an American
the-
fantasy.
Even the shots when they're like showing them like shooting people, and the way they show it, like they'll show the gunfire, and then it's like the gun isn't lined up with the person dying. It's like they fall off to the left.
Well, Alex, they're adjusting for the calibration being off.
We're supposed to believe that not only is Ben a spectacular shot, but that everyone in this house is hitting someone every time they're shooting.
Yeah, it shoots and then somebody falls. It shoots.
I'm like, okay, Rachel just got a gun. Mother, who's got to be 70, right? Andy, who is a hormonal teenager, from what I can tell. All of them, perfect shots.
It's in the blood. Although that wouldn't apply to Rachel.
No, yeah. Although some of the Aboriginals were shooting with rifles, I think so.
Were they? Did they have rifles?
I think so.
They would have had some.
Yeah,
they would have raided other encampments and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
I'm pretty sure I saw them firing it off.
And they would trade guns too. They would trade with people. Yeah. I don't think this movie was being that historically accurate, but
no, probably not. Probably not.
I want to be like, and what tribe were you signifying in the costuming? Let's see what the costume designer says. Is Kiowa even or Kio, whatever?
There's an S there.
Is that even a real one?
Or
Kiowa?
Kiowa.
No, it's a real thing.
Okay.
Yep. Native American tribe, indigenous people of the Great Plains of the United States. So yeah, they are from that area.
Well,
I feel like in these movies they get the tribe names right, and that's probably it.
That's about it. Just throw in a headdress. There's a weird that staff he had looked like a freaking voodoo staff. That did not look like any Native American thing I've seen. Or I'm sorry, not native, but natives to the land. That's not anything I've ever seen. That looked like a Halloween costume shop voodoo. I was like, what is this thing? The one he shoots?
Well, I mean, these are the movies that the Party Cities got their inspiration from, probably.
I would suppose so, wouldn't it be? I do want Audrey's hair, and this is my favorite Audrey hair.
Oh, of all the hairs. Fair Lady.
What do you like about it? Because isn't it just literally like a ponytail, or
no? So it's down technically, but then she has these two barrettes that bring these parts back really slick.
Oh,
and they tuck up underneath. It does this cool thing where it creates almost a ponytail effect at the back, but it's tucked underneath the hair, so it keeps it back there, and it almost does a mohawk thing from the side. Not a tall one, but that look. I don't know. I just really, and it's super long. I love extremes of hair. Super short, super long.
Yeah,
nice.
Her hair is always a standout feature.
It is
in all these movies,
and her dress could not be in this one, so they had to pay attention somewhere.
Again, just wait for My Fair Lady. The hair, the wardrobe, nothing will disappoint. It's a perfect. No, I don't want to say it's a perfect movie. It runs on a little longer than it needs to. It's a lot of songs
as do most films, right?
Yeah, especially My Fair Lady. Though there's a point, probably 2-ish hours in, where knowing the material myself, I'm like, I forgot this was here. Get to the end. Get to the last scene. Are we there yet? Okay. Anyway, anything else we want to say about this movie before we go to the game?
There was a funny scene where Ben is beating the shit out of Cash, where it's one of those classic old school get a grip of yourself woman, but it's Ben and Cash.
Yeah.
And what is it? He's
so it's subverting gender roles, is what you're saying.
Kind of, and half-wordly maybe. It still has the overly aggressive, violent man role, but it's substituted the hysterical female with the hysterical Cash. So yeah, that was a funny little sequence, I thought. They were biting the horse's ears when wrangling. I didn't know that was a thing that they did. I don't know why they did that, but they would wrangle the horses and then they would pull them up close and they were biting. There were multiple.
Oh, do we think they were actually branding the horse or the animal?
The cows, I think they were
branding the cows.
Was that
in the movie?
In real life, was that actual cow actor being branded?
I think so.
You think so? I can't remember what year they enacted. It was the early 60s. So this was 60. It might have been before the act was put in.
The reason why I say I think so is because I just noticed how there was the effects. Yeah, the smoke.
They might have they might have taken the trouble, maybe, just wondering, of going somewhere where cows were being branded anyway and filming that.
Yeah.
We can hope.
With a Z or a Z.
I'm trying to see when when that law went into effect, because I believe it was in the 1960s. When did animals? 1939. But that can't be because, well, no, because he filmed that out of the country. I was going to say Cannibal Holocaust definitely has animal things in it, but
I thought I would never have to hear anyone mention that movie ever again.
it's always going to
Cannibal
be me, Matt.
Holocaust.
It's always going to be me.
When are we having Cannibal Month?
Oh, that would actually be really good, though.
No.
We could do like a Hannibal Lecter movie,
No.
and we could do a Jeffrey Dahmer movie.
Cannibal the
And
musical from
Cannibal the musical.
and, yeah, Matt Stone.
We could do Fresh, the Sebastian Stan movie. I love that movie.
Is Drew Barrymore in that? No, that's something else.
No, that's Scream.
TV show. Oh, she's in. Isn't there a TV
Oh,
show? Zombie. She's a zombie or something.
oh, Santa Clarita Diet.
Yeah, that's
Yes.
That's the one. Yeah, yeah. Well, we'll see.
1972.
Maybe after Muppet Month.
Oh yes, Henson.
Nothing
Mullins.
falling.
Sorry, we still have one more week of Audrey.
Better than cannibalism. So.
Can you imagine Muppet cannibals? That'd be hilarious.
That would just be eating
tearing foam.
That'd be hilarious. Love that. All right, here we go. On to the game. Woot! So today is all about Westerns. I have lined up 10 classic movies. And it's actually not fair to say Westerns. Tonight is all about movies with cowboys. I have 10 classic movies that have at least one cowboy in them. I will give you clues in the way of words. The first person to buzz in or shout out the name of the movie that I am describing with these words gets the point.
Oh, okay. No,
actually, I think I'm even going to spice things up. If you get it, so I have 3 word clues basically per movie, or 3 clues. If you get it from the first clue alone, which is usually the most vague, you'll get 3 points. If you get it from 2 clues, you get 2 points. If you get it from all 3 clues, then you only get 1 point. There we are. Okay. So there will only be 1 winner per round, but the point totals could vary. It's very exciting. Very exciting. I'm hoping these are all movies both of you or at least one of you will know, but we'll find out.
Unlikely.
Yeah, I know. Yep. I invite those in the chat to play along as well. Here we go. So
I do too, so I can read your answer.
And just blurt it out. When you think you know it, just blurt it out. And that's how you'll get the point. Here we go.
Okay,
first movie. Your first word. Train.
Wild Wild West.
Alex is out. Okay.
Wait, I get out if I guess wrong?
Yeah, I just decided. Yeah.
I get to guess ad infinitum. We never established that rule. I wouldn't have said
anything.
No, but
we just did now.
Okay.
Okay. The second word.
Wait. I'm going to try for the. Well, no, because then I'm out if I get it wrong. Okay, cool. Go ahead.
It could have been solidarity, but.
Second. This is a character name. At a place.
Okay, that doesn't help. I'm gonna say.
You can wait
I don't even know if this is.
You can wait for.
No, I'm gonna try for 2 points.
Okay.
I think this is the name of the movie, The Great Escape.
That is incorrect.
No. Okay.
Now, just for funsies, the third clue was the word Sundance.
The Sundance Kid.
Well, Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid.
Oh, okay. See, I wouldn't even get it then.
All right. Next, your first word is Ethan.
Oh, why does that sound familiar? I'm not going to get it. That does sound familiar, though.
I don't have a guess. Yeah.
Our second word, or word clue, Natalie Wood.
Oh, okay. So we just talked about it. Why can't I say it out loud?
Me neither. It's your movie. What's Matt's movie?
Oh, my movie. I don't like this movie.
No, well, I know. The one you said. It starts with a freaking R. Why can't I say it? Why can't we just talked about it literally just now?
Isn't it? Is it an R? Isn't it? Is it?
I don't know.
Oh,
it is
The Seekers. The Seeker.
That's
your answer.
No.
Okay, well, it's my answer. It's The Seekers.
Jeanette doesn't get the points.
No,
Alex?
Dang it.
I need the third clue.
John Ford.
The horizon is never in the middle.
No, we were looking for The Searchers.
Searchers,
the
not
Searchers.
Seekers. Why is it when I go to say it's not an R? When you go to remember something, like we literally just said.
There's an R in it. Search R's.
Yeah,
Search
seek
R's.
R's.
I don't know why it is. Like if I just talked about it, I won't remember it.
Right?
Yeah.
Next, Sid.
Is there a cowboy in that? Oh,
Toy Story.
Yes, Jeanette gets 3 points.
oh.
I was like,
Cool.
that's the only Sid I know other than Sid and Nancy, and Sid and Nancy certainly doesn't have a cowboy in it.
I was thinking Sid Sorokin from Pajama Game, and then I was.
What is
then I
this
was like, can't do
Pajama Game?
that.
I must know about Pajama Game.
Well, it's
Can't do
musical.
that.
It's about
Musical.
unionizing a pajama factory.
Yeah, workers
Okay.
unionizing in a pajama factory.
Yeah, it's like Newsies, but with pajamas.
Well, it's
I
not
think.
really
I don't
about
know.
that. It's about a guy falling in love with a girl. But
In a pajama factory, and she's the head of the union that she wants to form, and he's like the evil person who's like, no, unions are
he's not
bad.
the evil person. He's the newly hired manager to like keep them in line.
I don't know. I've never seen it, Alex. I'm telling
Well,
you.
I've seen it many times.
Good for you.
Actually, well, no, I've seen the movie once and I've been in it once. But actually, I've seen it perform.
You weren't in it.
another time. Yes, I was.
You were in Heathers.
Yes, at St. Clair, the musical theater program, the college that hosts the musical theater program that I attended, did Pajama Game. I was not in their production of Pajama Game, but I was in a production in separate from that.
Oh,
Previous
interesting.
to it.
Okay, well, I'm glad we all know that now. The other clues for Toy Story were going to be Andy and the Claw, just FYI. Next, here we go. Your first clue is Judd.
Oklahoma.
Yes, Alex gets 3 points.
I was thinking of the Judd actors. I was like, what was Ashley Judd in as a cowboy?
The second clue was going to be basket auction. The third clue was going to be brand new state. Brand new.
That's
Good.
a terrible.
I'm
That's a
glad
terrible
Alex
third
got
clue.
it.
That's a great clue.
You should have done like when the wind comes rushing down the plane or whatever the heck.
That's a
Rain
little
comes.
that if I can
Well,
get it, it's too obvious.
Well, no, I think the third clue should be the obvious one.
Well, I also knew
Brand new
Alex were going to
state.
get it at least by basket auction. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
Or the farmer and the cowman.
could be friends. Yeah. it's true.
Yeah.
Oh, the farmer and the
And
$1.
the cowman could be
$1.
friends. Yeah, $1.
Yeah.
$1.
Okay, next. Also, some of these are difficult in the case of like Oklahoma, where I don't actually know anything about the movie. So some of these clues might not be good, but moving on. Next, your first clue is Mad Dog Tannen.
He's a mad dog cannon.
I never finished this movie, so I'm hesitant because I feel like I remember this, but I was like, okay, I'm gonna wait for clue number 2.
Okay, Alex, would you like to wager a guess, or would you like clue number 2?
I have no idea.
Okay,
I have no
your
idea.
second clue, which might seem obvious, but is very tricky. I will say that. Your second clue is Clint Eastwood.
Okay. Unforgiven?
No.
Oh, okay. I just thought maybe. Maybe.
What's the other one called? There are
Alex,
only
do
two.
you want the third clue, Alex?
I don't think the third clue will help me.
I think it
Uh,
might.
Fine, give it to me.
DeLorean.
Back to the Future.
Is that all
2,
you have to say?
3,
What was that?
4, 3. Back to
Oh.
the Future 3.
Yeah, it's Back to the Future 3. You got it, Alex.
Like, and I did.
You know who else got it? Vince got it with that, like, just with the first clue. Vince did.
Yeah.
Sweet.
There
Yeah.
we go. See, Vince likes the game. Okay.
When you said train earlier, that was what I was gonna say. I'm glad I didn't then either, I guess, but that's what I thought you were doing.
Next, beans.
Into.
No count.
I know this guy. I know it. What was his name? I know this. It's a cowboy. If you know this, Jeanette, I'll give it to you. If you can think of the title. He's famous. He's like, the whole premise is like, or one of the points of this character. There are a series of movies that star this guy as a cowboy, and he's fucking obsessed with beans. He eats a shitload of beans. That's probably what this movie is reference to. Is it Trinity?
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood?
Trinity?
Yes?
Trinity?
Yeah, is that my guess?
Is that your
No.
guess?
Yeah, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
No, it is not Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Dang.
What's it? It's his
Alex,
name.
you want the second clue, Alex?
I don't think. Again, it's his name. If I'm on the right track, but sure, give me the second clue.
I'm tired.
That doesn't help me. What's the third clue?
Gene Wilder.
Oh, it's God, now I need to think about the movie.
No.
Maybe that's.
Yoda from Merc got it.
Yeah, I'll think of it. Just give me like an hour. It is. Give me another hint. It is.
Come on, dude.
Rhyme the title. I know it.
Oh
It's
my
just I'm not
God!
thinking
If
of
you
it.
know it's a cowboy movie with Gene Wilder,
I know what it
can't-
is. I just can't think of the title. It's one of
Lazy
those things.
Cattle.
Oh, a Blazing Saddles. Thank you.
Yes, you got it, Alex.
Good Lord.
Okay.
Okay.
I don't even know if you deserved
You
that.
can give me a half point for that, or a
half
third
point.
point.
Yeah, you get a half point.
Or you can give me no point because your neck got me the other one. It'll balance itself.
Yeah,
out.
you're right. Yeah, no point. There we go. Next. Okay. Close-ups.
Oh.
Is this my cowboy movie?
Maybe.
There's a lot of close-ups in that one.
This is a movie that is like defined and known for the close-ups.
I
Like
guess
all
that doesn't
reenactings.
really- Uh-oh. Oh, does that have cowboys in it, or is it just set in the West? This isn't my answer. Maybe Alex is No Country for Old Men. That's not a Western.
No. See, I wouldn't say No Country for Old Men is a Western.
I'm
No,
back.
okay.
I
Yeah.
unplugged my Ethernet cable when I was giving you my
Oh,
close-up.
okay. I was
although
asking
it's-
Alex if he thought No Country for Old Men was a Western,
I don't think it is.
but I don't think it is.
But also, it can be. It's like I don't know. Yeah.
Do you want the second clue?
Yeah.
Spaghetti.
Oh.
Spaghetti Western. Matt nodded. Clearly,
I don't know. I don't know which ones are spaghetti.
Spaghetti Western with close-ups.
Me neither. I only know the term spaghetti Western.
Yeah.
And up until recently, I didn't know what it meant.
It's been
But then-
discussed. It's been discussed. This movie has been
Nice.
discussed on this conversation.
This movie's been discussed in this conversation.
In this conversation that we're having right
Okay.
now?
Like
Or during-
since we started an hour and a half-ish ago.
Okay.
Okay.
What's it called?
Your third clue is Tuco.
Unforgiven.
No.
No, wait.
Okay.
Tuco sounds really familiar. Tuco. Hold on.
Balto.
I'm gonna kick myself when you say it. Hold on. It's not Brokeback, right? No.
What about that
Is
one
it,
with
is
Johnny
it City
Depp?
Slickers?
Yoda from Mark got it. It is the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Oh,
That's the
okay. I was like, am I
one I
forgetting
was
some
thinking
character?
Is that the one where you feel lucky punk?
No,
No,
that's Dirty Harry.
Oh, Dirty Harry.
All right. Next, your first clue is Fox.
Is there a cowboy in that?
Is there a cowboy at Fox in the Hill? No. There's no
Hmm.
cowboy. There's a hillbilly. There's no cowboy.
Fantastic Mr. Fox
Is there a
is
cowboy in
not
that?
my answer.
No cowboy in that. There's no cowboy in
We
that.
want our second clue?
Sure.
Your second clue is Leo.
Oh. Oh. Well, is this one Once Upon a Time in Hollywood?
Is that your guess?
Yes, it's my guess.
No.
Oh, dang it.
That was a very good guess, though.
He plays a cowboy. Like
I'm
his
sure he
He
does.
acts as a cowboy, right? I'm not crazy. I'm not saying that for no. I'm like, wait, I'm not crazy, right?
I wouldn't say Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is a Western though, but
It's not a Western,
yeah.
but, he
But the
films
game is it has
Westerns.
one cowboy.
yeah,
No.
that's
in
true.
it,
That's true.
yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
Toy
But
Story's
you are
not a
very
Western
close
either,
to
I
that
guess.
in many ways.
Okay, what's the third clue?
Yeah, I think I
Django.
know.
Third clue is Django.
Django Unchained.
Yes, you got it, Alex.
Oh my
These
god!
are to your like.
What?
The third Oklahoma clue should definitely have been something like when the where
The
the
third
wind comes
Oklahoma
swooping down.
clue should have just been
Oklahoma.
Oklahoma.
Yeah, Oak. La, la, la.
Oh,
I
we're going to
say
been
it. I
okay.
didn't say it.
Yeah.
Where the wind
I mean,
comes.
Django is like yeah. Okay. Or
Okay.
just spell it.
You're complaining because I gave you the answer.
No.
We have two left. Here we go. Loveless.
Wild Wild West.
Wild West.
Yes, Alex, you got it.
That was funny.
This is one of those cases where I know nothing about the movie, but apparently that's a Kenneth Branagh's name, or no?
Our Less, Love Less. Yeah.
Your second clue was going to be.
Yeah. You didn't know
knew
it was
that?
Brana?
Yeah.
Oh my God! He like Gary Oldman in himself into that. What the heck?
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes he'll do something right. Your second clue was going to be Ulysses S. Grant, and your third clue was going to be spiders, because I think the movie has all those things.
Yeah.
All right.
It does, and yeah, you gotta watch it, man. It's hilarious.
It looks awful. It looks
It's
so bad.
so good.
So bad.
It's so
Buckwheat
fun.
boobs. Buckwheat boobs. It's the best part of the whole movie.
Okay. Final question of the regular round. Here we go. Your first clue is Delos. Delos. Delos.
Oh,
Delos.
Westworld.
Yes, Jeanette. You got it.
That's not a movie.
Yes, it is.
That is a movie. It's a Michael
it's a
Crichton
movie?
movie. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Well, it's a Michael. Yeah, Michael
It's
Crichton wrote the story for the movie, but
Yeah.
it's not a book of his.
Oh, okay.
But he writes many things that sound just like.
Is the premise like the same as the series?
It's the same. Yeah. Well, for the first season of the series, yeah, essentially. Yeah.
When did it come out? When did the
I
Westworld
want to
film?
say
70s.
78, 79.
Yeah, like the
something
movie is
that.
decent. It's not. I've seen it twice straight through, and I remember.
I've
both
never
times-
gotten to see all of it.
Really. It's not.
Yeah, I can't find it all everywhere.
not
I've
as
only
good
like
as its
YouTube
concept.
it.
Like I think the TV show does a better job overall.
73.
Yeah.
Jeez, Michael Crichton must have been crazy young when he did that. Wow.
Your second clue was going to be Gunslinger. Your third clue was going to be Yul Brenner.
Yeah, I never watched Westworld. It's on my list.
What a
Sure, I
shame
love
for
it,
you.
but
What a shame for you. So your point totals are. Hold on.
if you would have said Android, I might have gotten it or something
Maybe.
to that effect.
Then you would have maybe you could have thought it was Stepford Wives. I don't know.
I don't know what that is.
But that's a shame. It's great. We love Stepford Wives.
It's like Westworld, but for middle America.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah, no, the concept in Stepford Wives is that they move to a really tiny suburban town, and then all the wives are just eerily perfect, like 1950s era perfect. And then the wife of the guy that moved her to that town, she's like, something's off. Then eventually she finds out that all the women have been killed and replaced with robots.
That sounds good.
It's great. Anyway, Jeanette, you have 6 points. Alex, you have 8. How many would we like to wager?
Oh,
All of them. Alex?
I guess I'll wager 6 points.
6. Okay. Here we go. So, the American Film Institute, the AFI, a couple years ago, they did they used to do those series 100 years, 100 whatever. They would like do a countdown of the top 100 whatever. They did one episode where they went by genre. So they did like top 10 fantasy movies, top 10 animated movies. They did a top 10 Western segment. What movie did they rank as the number 1 Western of all time? Hint, we have discussed it tonight.
okay. We have discussed it.
We have discussed the movie, and by discussed, it might only have been in the context of it appeared in this game. But the title of this movie has been spoken tonight.
Okay.
Dirty
and
Harry.
Good, Bad, and the Ugly.
Okay, we got 1 vote for Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, and 1 vote for Dirty Harry, you said, Alex?
Yeah.
Hey. Oh, we have a winner. And it's Alex with his remaining 2 points.
Whoa!
The answer was The Searchers.
Oh,
They
I
seem
almost
to
said
think
that, and I was like, how would they rank that above like a bunch of other ones?
They apparently did because it's John Ford. So
Wow,
Hollywood loves him.
Wow.
Was I just conflating the character in Blazing Saddles with like his own cowboy series?
Probably.
Trinity Cowboy.
Trinity.
Yeah.
They call me Trinity. No, I was right. There is and I'm pretty sure his gimmick is that he eats beans.
Well, I'm
there
assuming
was
that
a-
like Blazing Saddles was definitely parodying something.
Yeah.
I always thought it was just the generic like construct stereotype of cowboys eating beans, but it would make sense if there was a cowboy who was known for eating a
Yeah.
disgusting amount of beans. then-
Yeah. It's also a comedy as well.
Yeah.
1970.
Oh, you mean this thing?
They Call Me Trinity.
Call Me Train? Okay.
Yeah.
Probably not as funny, but I believe you.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, there we go, everyone. Audrey Hepburn plus Westerns. What's everyone's final statement on is that a formula that makes sense? We'll start with Jeanette.
It made Westerns slightly more bearable. Audrey made it better.
Nice. Alex?
Yeah, I don't know. Like I thought Audrey did a good job in this film personally. I agree that she didn't really have any one big moment per se. Maybe, she had kind of a number of these smaller moments, but in those small moments, I think she did a great job. She shined through. She shone through, and thus far I've only seen this one and Breakfast at Tiffany's, and I am thoroughly satisfied. And I thought this was a great film. Yeah, I thought it was an enjoyable film, and it did some interesting stuff for the 60s, for 1960.
Yeah. I think I more or less agree with all points Alex said. I think she gave a better performance than I expected her to, just because going in, I felt like Audrey Hepburn plus Westerns doesn't make sense. I still don't think it makes sense, but
yeah,
it was fine. She did it. And in some ways, it might be my favorite acting performance of hers that we've seen over the past 3 weeks. In some ways, not overall. It's not the movie I would go back to.
She's not consistently the whole time playing the meek and kind of like lost young woman in this one. Like, she does seem like she kind of has her head on her shoulders a little bit more in this one.
Yeah, she felt much more grounded. It showed a side of Audrey that I didn't think was there or that she was necessarily capable of. And it was kind of certain things just seemed more effortless to her than I thought they would be. So I respected that. It was a perfectly decent performance in one of the more enjoyable Westerns I've forced myself to watch in my life. So there it is.
Exactly.
Hooray. But no, I agree with Martha. It was fun tonight, but next week, favorite Audrey movie. If not I don't know if I could say it's one of my favorite movies, but I enjoy it and appreciate it more every time I revisit My Fair Lady. It's so good. It's too long.
I'm excited to finally watch it. I've never actually seen it.
Oh, I'm excited to hear your thoughts. Alex, have you seen it?
No.
What?
No.
Wow.
No.
That's a shame.
No, I've read it's based on Pygmalion, right?
Yeah.
I've read Pygmalion, and I've read about it. But
how did you end up reading Pygmalion before ever seeing My Fair Lady?
He's too busy watching Wild Wild West for the 800th time.
Absolutely. No, in like musical theater history class.
Oh,
yeah, in our textbook.
That makes sense. I guess I'm surprised that if you were reading that for musical theater history, your instructors wouldn't have followed up with "Here's My Fair Lady." But that's just me. That's what I would have done. But
well,
I wasn't your teacher, though. It's fine.
No, yeah, it was like era dependent, so we kind of read the era of Pygmalion, which is markedly earlier than the era of My Fair Lady.
Oh yeah, of course. Even though it takes place in the same era, but no, you're right. It was written, probably 60-ish years earlier. But we'll dive into that next week. Get ready for delightful music, crazy accents, and again another chapter of Who Owns Audrey Hepburn.
Oh, I was gonna say, do we get our favorite storyline?
Yeah, although actually, you know what?
Who claims this woman?
I opened it by saying that this was the first movie where they were literally discussing ownership. Even though maybe they weren't literally, but next week is the first and maybe only movie where she is actually purchased for money.
Like, they got close in this film.
It's just been getting progressively closer every
Unforgiven.
week.
They stopped short of actively purchasing her. My Fair Lady, we're going to cross that threshold. Though.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. But although the purchasing of her in My Fair Lady, it has more of like a philosophical point behind it. But
we love that.
Yeah, we do. Yeah. We'll discuss it all next week. Misogyny, both of those. Classism. Yeah. Vowels, about the rain in Spain and how it apparently stays mainly in the fields. Yeah. About
the life of the white.
Yeah.
Was ended by the rain.
Yeah. In Hartford, Hereford, and Hampshire, hurricanes hardly occur.
Teapot.
This is what you can look forward to next week, folks.
Okay. Okay. Goodbye, everyone. It's that time. Tell us who you are and what you're doing. There we go.
Hello. I am Jeanette, and you can find me here today and next week. And you can find me on We Like Theme Parks podcast every Thursday, new episode. And this week, it's an intimate affair. It's just me and Bondo, just chatting. So yeah, you should check it out and check out my Instagram, TinkerJ787. It's me. It's Disney sometimes. It's concert sometimes. It's food and scary stuff sometimes. Check it out.
You shall. Bye. Thank you, Jen. Bye.
I won 2 points. That's why you always save your points, kids. All right, don't bet all those points. All right, because you never know where life takes you, and you never know when you're going to be happy that you bank the tuppence. Speaking of, I'm away from home right now, and I didn't bring my nail kit.
I was going to say they look a little unsightly.
Yeah, I've had to bite them.
No, don't show us that.
They're pretty uneven. I don't know how much you can see because the camera's not a very high resolution.
Too much.
But here, they this
looks like that bled. Looks like that bled.
I don't think it did, but it's close.
It's gonna be a hangnail though. It's gonna get.
Let me see if I can find anyone that did bleed.
Oh wait,
this one bled.
So you're saying in Montreal they don't have nail clippers, or?
No, they do, but I'm not made of money. I can't just go buy nail clippers willy-nilly. It's I have them at home.
Right.
It won't be long till I'm back.
Right.
I'm not a madman.
Not long enough. But yeah.
Yeah, just gotta. I was doing it up until I did do the deed last night. I was doing well. They were growing. They were uneven because of previous biting.
Of course, couldn't handle that.
Yeah, I was like, do I let them live uneven or do I just? And I just.
It's okay. You're allowed to have a moment of weakness, as did Audrey Hepburn when she said yes to doing this movie.
I thought you were going to say when she said yes to
kissing
streaking,
Yeah. Most things really with this movie. Yeah. Anyway, next week, My Fair Lady. Excited? So see you then. Yeah. How do you end this?